In week 4, we're going to have 2 discussions. The first one is social networking and social learning. And if you go on the discussion forums link or weekly discussions link, you'll see all the instructions there. So basically, you're going to have an initial message where you think about your experiences with group work in the past and what kinds of technologies you use to support it. And also, you're going to think about Merrill's rating guide and social learning and whether there's a fit. And then for your response, you're going to look at one classmate's message and you're going to compare and contrast what they say in both regards to what you understand or what your experience was. The second discussion is going to be managing group collaboration, and when you get to the course website, you'll see there's something different in there. We're going to work together on a set of slides, and so you're going to pick an aspect of designing for or managing group collaboration that you learned from Horton this week. And just one. It could be a capability of tools, it could be a type of activities, anything, but something out of which you can get best practices to implement in your designs, for example. And what you're going to do is you're going to add a slide, and that slide you're going to include the title of the slide, which is going to be that aspect that you chose to focus on, 1 or 2 best practices that Horton recommends. And then if you have any personal wisdom that you can share based on your own group work designing experience or your own participation as a student in a experience that implemented that activity or that type of tool, you can share it. And then make sure you add your name. I'm not sure who's going to be logged in and who won't. And so just add your name at the bottom of the slide so I know it's yours. This document, it's supposed to be open for editing to anyone with a link, so you shouldn't have to log in to be able to work on it. Obviously, if you have any difficulties, just let me know. And so this will count as your initial message in the forum, and let's see if we can build together a quick reference of best practices regarding social learning. And so now remember, we will be in an environment where everybody can be editing everybody else's work, and so accidents could happen. Be extra cautious, and there's a couple of ways that you can make sure that no work is going to be lost. Now, we are in the 21st century. We really are collaborating, working together. Of course, there's the issue that you want to make sure that your contribution is there for me to see. So when you go in, one of the things you can do is actually download a copy of the presentation before you start working on it, just in case something gets messed up. You can quickly restore anything that was there before you started. The other thing you can do is, if no one else was working on it simultaneously, then, and I'm going to show you how to identify this, you can go to File and then see the revision history, and you would be able to restore the previous revision so that everything is the way it was before. Something happened while you were working on it. Things could happen, but these are 2 ways that you can ensure that if anything happens while you're there, don't panic. Just go back and retrieve what was there before. There's a couple of ways to do that. And so then, since you're not bound by text, as in the discussion forum, feel free to be creative regarding how you communicate the information. So you can put a video, audio, images, whatever you want to illustrate your point. However, don't feel pressured or stressed to do it this way. If you don't have too much time to be creative, resorting to text is fine. And so, finally, if you need assistance on how to work with Google Slides, you can go to the Google Slides help or watch any YouTube video that has assistance on how to work with this. Of course, if you're having too much trouble, trying to edit this and trying to make it work for you, just post a message in the discussion forum. I don't want you to get stressed out of this activity. This is something, just something different I thought we'd try. I've done it many times in the past with actually face-to-face classes, and mostly undergraduates, teacher education students, and but of course we were together in the same room. They were all together editing at the same time, and I taught them how to be cautious. It was relatively easy for them to work on that, but many times they were younger students as well, more used to all kinds of technologies. But then at the end of the class, we would get together and go through the presentation, and every person would talk about their slides. So it was kind of a nice activity to do, and I kind of wanted to reproduce that here. So how are we going to do this in Google? So when you see that embedded piece of content, the slide, you're going to click on the options button, and then you go to the open editor option and click on it. And once you get to the Google Slides site, you're going to click on Add Slide. Next thing that happens is you see that set of options that allows you to select different types of screens. Choose the one that you think will be easier for you to communicate what you want to communicate, and once you click on it, you're back here, which is pretty much like working on any PowerPoint. So you click on the area and you enter your text, and click on the next area, enter your text. You'll notice that from time to time the changes will be saving, and you'll see the message here. If you want to be extra safe, you may want to go back again to File and download a copy of the presentation after you worked on it, so that you have your work saved here in your local drive as well. So then now you may notice that there's an icon here if somebody else is working at the same time. You may see an icon here, and also if you look at the left panel, you may see an underscore at the bottom left of the screens, any of these that have been previously created, and when you mouse over it, you would see the same icon you saw over there. If there's only one person, that means that somebody's editing and they are right on this slide. So if they were editing this one, you would see the underscore here, and then if you mouse over, it will tell you who that person is. So that way you know if somebody else is editing at the same time as you are. So then for responses, you are to choose on one classmate slide and use the comments feature within Google Slides. So again, we stay there, and you're basically going to consider, that person's the aspect that they chose. Try to expand on it, share the additional ideas from what you learned in the course readings. Kind of like to try to convince yourself or a classmate, based on what you know of their projects, that this aspect could be potentially useful for a Connect activity. So, maybe somebody said, hey, this person discussed sending targeted messages, and I was thinking that this would be a good thing for your project because Horton says this and this and that and whatever. And so you can either do this for yourself, as in provide additional ideas for justification on using it for your own project, or maybe suggest it for somebody else. But do that within the comments section in Google Slides, and I'm going to show you in a second. So when you're there, you're going to click on the slide that you want to comment on. Just make sure that you click on that slide first, and then you're going to click on comments. That will make this bar here appear, and then you're going to click on comment again, and that will bring you a little like a speech bubble where you can enter your message and comment here. We are in new territory here, so maybe try to compose and say in Word and then bring it here, and just to make sure that everything gets in, nothing gets chopped, and you don't lose anything of what you've written if you were typing for a little while. So that would be the way to comment within Google Slides. And so one last message, which is entirely optional. You would go back now here in the discussion board, and if you have the time and you feel like sharing, think about this type of activity, collaboratively authoring slides, and how does it compare to sharing with information via the forum regularly? Does it add any value, or could there be an added value if we would have done something differently? Was it more stressful than just posting on the discussion forum? Any feedback, anything about the activity, so that you feel you would like to share? Anything that gives me guidance as to, oh, Professor Lopez, please, 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 please don't ever do this again. Or, this was nice, this was a nice change of pace, but I would have done it this way. Or, this was great, whatever the experience is. I just kind of want to have a measure of how helpful it was for you as a learning activity and as a way of learning about one possible way of doing social learning. So the deadlines, as usual, Wednesday, February the 4th is your first message due on each forum. The replies should go in by Sunday, February the 8th, and all messages have to be in by the deadline at 11:59 p.m.